and welcome. I'm Ashley from Yoga for That and founder of the Live Better program. Today's coaching call is about how to stick to new habits. I know that we're halfway through February, so a lot of you probably are thinking this would have been really helpful and handy for setting New Year's resolutions, but I don't actually really believe in setting New Year's resolutions. I believe in setting intentions, and I believe in setting goals, achievable goals, rather than resolutions per se. And this video and this chat will be my tips for when you're setting your goals and starting new habits, how to stick to them and achieve them in the long run. I do find that at the start of the year, we have a list of things that we envision ourselves being. And sometimes that list is a little bit too long. Sometimes that list is, I don't want to say too hopeful, but in terms of maybe it's not realistic enough. Whereas once we kind of get through that like new year glow and we settle back into ourselves and settle back into our regular routines, we begin to notice the things that we do want to change, things that aren't working for us. And then it's a little bit easier to pinpoint what it is that we want to work on and that we want to change. As last week's video, I chatted about getting in control of your finances. That's my biggest resolution this year. Not resolution, but my biggest goal this year is 2 financial goals. So again, setting and sticking to a budget for me is very, very important. And then also saving $5,000. So that is kind of the goal that I'm most focused on at this point. I do have other things that I'm working on. I'm always working on my business, and that's just something that kind of ebbs and flows. I will be also doing a video on YouTube about dealing with overwhelm. That's something that's been kind of a theme of my life for the past maybe month or so. So I wanted to kind of chat about that as well. But in terms of having kind of 1 or 2 main goals that you're focused on for the year, and then you're more than welcome to have more goals than that. But I do find that the more you have, your attention is going to be spread out amongst all of those goals, and perhaps you won't. There's this idea, I want to go back to budgeting. So there's this idea of like a snowball effect. So last week I talked about the 50-30-20 rule. And that helps with like debt repayment as well. But for if you're looking to repay debt or paying off student loan, whatever, there's a snowball version of financing where you pay, say you have like 3 things you're paying off, like a line of credit, student loan, and then credit card, is that you choose the thing with the lowest amount due on it, and you pay the minimum payments on the other 2 and pay the majority of what you can afford to that smaller item. So that once it's paid off, you have more money to then go to like the medium-sized amount and then to the large amount. So I want you to kind of think of that in terms of your time and your energy. So if you have multiple goals, if you're trying to do all of them at the same time, you might not reach them as quickly as you could. So if you think of a goal that can be accomplished more quickly, the time frame's a little bit shorter perhaps, or it's just something that's a little bit easier to achieve if you put all of your energy and time into it, is focus on that goal first. And then it's kind of like ticked off and ready to go. And then focus on the next goal and the next goal and the next goal, so on. Instead of trying to spread out all your energy, time, and resources amongst all your goals at one time. So if I look at my goal of my finances, I mean, they kind of go hand in hand in terms of setting and sticking to a budget and saving $5,000. It's this idea that if I stay on budget and I've obviously allotted part of my budget to go to my savings every time I get a paycheck. I'm doing both of those things. I'm sticking to my budget, and I'm putting money away into my savings to hopefully reach that goal by the end of the year. And I did set it out so each paycheck, I know how much is going into that savings. So by the end of the year, I should have X amount of money in my savings. Obviously, things can go awry. You might have unexpected expenses. I might like change jobs, whatever. So it's one of those things that it's an expected amount. It's not guaranteed, which is why I want to keep tracking it and stay on track with my budget and my savings. So again, they kind of go hand in hand. So it's all my attention on my finances. With my business, it's just something that's always kind of on my plate. And so what I do with that is I'm constantly checking in with myself. So this is one of the tips, is checking in with your goals. So whatever you have as your goal that you want to focus on, and all of the goals you're focusing on, is to check in with them regularly. So for example, say you have a goal of doing a 30-day yoga challenge. Okay, so your goal might be that you're going to do a little bit of yoga every single day. So that one's pretty easy to check in with in terms of that you're doing your yoga. What constitutes having done yoga? Like, do you have a set amount of time? Do you have a set time of day that you can then say, yes, I did my yoga for the day? You might also have a goal of, I want to do 2 to 3 yoga classes per week for 3 months. Okay, so that one, you still want to check in every single day, although you're not actually doing yoga every day. So say you say to yourself, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, you're going to do 15 minutes, at least 15 minutes of yoga, whether it's a video on your own, private yoga, whatever it is. But every day you also want to check in. So on a Monday, how do you feel? How are you feeling from doing your yoga? Do you feel overwhelmed by having set this goal for yourself? Do you have a different relationship with your practice now, good or bad? Do you feel it's forced? Do you feel like you really enjoy those, looking forward to Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays that you get to set out your mat and do yoga? So, and the thing is too, if I look at my goal of my finances, I do check in every single day. I double check my bank accounts, my credit card accounts. I'm moving money around. I'm keeping track in my bullet journal. I'm keeping track every single day of where I stand financially, even though I might not physically be putting money into my savings or onto my credit card, or and like taking a specific action. I may not even be filling, maybe we didn't even spend any money. So there's nothing for me to update in my spreadsheet in terms of money spent, but I'm just checking in every day so it becomes a habit. So I know when I do spend money, I have to go update my spreadsheet, whether I've already done my check-in for the day. I know the next day I'll be checking in. I used to do check-ins weekly with my finances, and it just keeping track of the joint and my personal account, it just got to be way too much, and eventually I'd get overwhelmed and I would just not even worry about checking in because I was just so overwhelmed every time I had to do it. Whereas when I do it every single day, some days there's a little bit more to do, like paydays. Obviously, I have money kind of going in different directions. If I'm just having to pay bills, sometimes that's more time consuming, but I find if I do it every single day, it's easier to stay on top of and keep track of. So no matter what your goal is, say you're training for, again, a marathon, I like to go back to running. You might not actually be training every single day, but checking in with yourself. How does your body feel? Are you sore? Are you tired? Are you hydrating enough? Are you eating well? Are you staying on top of your training? Why not? Is there a better day for you to do your running rather than the days you've already set out? Do you constantly have conflicts on certain days and it just makes getting out for your run more time consuming, or you're just making excuses more often than not. If you check in all the time, you'll begin to identify the things that are getting in the way of reaching your goals. It doesn't mean you actually have to be doing something every single day towards your goal. By checking in, you are actively working towards reaching your goal. So, daily check ins, definitely, especially when you're starting a new habit or a new goal, is to check in all of the time, every single day, maybe even multiple times a day, just so it's something that's always at the front of your mind. So, you know, every single day, did I sit down with myself? Did I check in with this goal? How's it going? Where do I need help? Where am I doing well? Am I on track to reach my goal still? Just staying on top of it so it's always like first and foremost in your mind is really, really, really important. Along with that is creating a routine around your goals. So you've already thinking of it every single day. You're checking in, you're writing about it, you're journaling about it, you're spreadsheeting about it, whatever you need to do. And then making that the actions a part of your routine. Okay? So even with my business, I do try to do the same things every single week. It doesn't always happen because we're moving and I have a full-time job. And unfortunately, my business, because it's like the third thing on my list, a lot of times things get missed. But I do have a template and I try to run through that template and go through the same things every single week. I write them down my agenda so I know, like, what do I have time for this week? What can I take action towards? Do I have half an hour to sit down and kind of punch out some of these actions and get them done? So, part of your routine is to have your routine set out for yourself. So, a template of everything maybe that you need to do in the day, maybe everything you need to do in the week, the month, the year, etc. I do this for my work as well. So, generally having like a little post it, um, and like whatever the steps are for that action. So every time I work on a file, I have certain things and steps that I have to take. And I've been doing it long enough now that I, in my head, know all those steps. But if I'm having a really busy day, I can just write them out real quick and then tick them off as I go. So, knowing your routine, knowing every action step you need to take to get you towards your goal is really important as well. So, keeping track of the things that you need to do or want to do, but having it in a place where you can look at it and just start working at it. You don't have to continuously keep writing it down, rethinking, reevaluating. I spent the first couple years of my business just always reevaluating. And I'm not saying that part's not important. It's very important to be evaluating, reevaluating, and I still do that. I just do it in a more um, refined way in terms of checking in, looking at what I'm doing right now, what's working, what's not working. Can I push certain items to other days? Are there days that are better for getting work done? All that kind of stuff. So, evaluating and reevaluating is very important, but it's also important to have a general idea of what you need to do each day. So, if you're thinking you're doing your 30-day yoga challenge, maybe you write down in your agenda yoga and then you can tick it off. Or maybe you put it in your Google Calendar and it's a reminder every single day, like 5 minutes before you need to do your yoga routine. If you're doing it at home, if you're doing a live class, make sure you're setting that alarm or you're setting that reminder in your calendar so you actually get everything together, ready to go and do it. I also highly suggest being organized as well for that item that you want to work towards. So, say for your yoga, that if you are doing it every day, whether you have a space that you can just constantly have your mat out and have that ready to go, or you set your reminder 10 minutes before your class starts, get your mat out, go get your water, have your yoga clothes already put out and like ready to change into. Whatever it is you need to do to prepare yourself for that action item will especially if you're someone who tends to procrastinate and you're like, oh, I'm cozy in what I'm wearing, or I got caught up in work. If you can make the transition to your task as easy as possible, you're more than likely to do that thing you want to do. When I want to work out at lunch, sometimes I just get busy on my computer. I end up working on my business on the like at lunchtime. At the start, I'll start answering emails. If I have my workout gear ready to go, I'm more likely than not to change into it, do my workout, make my lunch, whatever I need to do, and be done for the day. So the easier you can make your transition into your action step easier, the more likely you are to do it. Okay. So we want to focus on checking in. We want to focus on setting a routine, which also includes setting yourself up for success in terms of being as prepared as you can for that action you need to take that day to reach your goal or to stay committed to your new habit. Okay? Be invested in your new habit or your goal. So, again, like I said, checking in every single day. Um, it's really important that you're interested in the outcome of your goal. So, if you've set a goal that you're really not interested in achieving, you probably wouldn't have set the goal if you're not interested in achieving it. But if you're not like obsessed with achieving it, so, and I don't mean like obsessed, like that's all you think of it about, but in terms of that it's on your mind, you're checking in every day, you're taking action steps every day to reach that goal. So, if you're not interested in taking those action steps every single day or working towards your goal every single day, then maybe it's a goal you need to reevaluate. Is it something that you then need to hire someone to help you with more because you're more interested in the outcome of the goal than in taking action towards the goal? And that could be with your business, that could be anything in your life. Like, I do not like cooking. Well, I like cooking, but I don't like the preparing and like having to think about what to eat, what to make, or making the grocery list, all that stuff. So I'm always on the lookout for. I also don't like meal services because I just think it's a lot of waste, and I just I'm not that busy that I need that. I'm just lazy and unmotivated. So I'm constantly on the lookout for options of someone who like creates meal plans or um like anything that just makes cooking a little bit easier. If I have the idea in my head of what I want to make and and then I can go to the ingredients, it's just like all the steps. There's too many steps. So for me, that's just something, obviously I'm gonna have to eat every single day of my life for the rest of my life. So trying to make that as easy as possible as I can for myself. So that's why we do the check-ins all of the time. What isn't working and why isn't it working, and how can you make it work for yourself? If you really want to run a marathon and you can't stay motivated, you don't know how to train, you don't know where to start, hire a coach, join a running group. Like whatever it takes to help you push forward and get comfortable with achieving your goal. Okay, so be invested. Um, Time, money, resources, interest, whatever it is, do something that will help you get on track. Um, you've set a goal for a reason. So identifying what's not working and then become more invested in finding a way to get yourself on track to reach your goal. Okay. So, along with that is the tip of enlisting help. So, whether you're hiring someone, a coach, a service, whatever it is, or you just have a friend or a partner or a family member who you can be constantly checking in with. So, we're doing our personal daily check ins with ourselves and with our goals. You might have a weekly or monthly check in with a friend or a family member who then you can like bounce ideas off of. So, once a month, every third Thursday, you call this person up and you're like, today I just want to chat about my goals. What went well, what didn't go well, how often you completed your daily task, why you didn't complete your tasks when you didn't. So, if you have a goal to run 3 times a week, if you only ran two, is it always the same day that you're not running that third run? Is it because you're too tired, too sore, the weather sucked, whatever it is? Checking in with that other person, they might be able to give you ideas of how and why it wasn't working, and how to get you moving forward again and get you back on track with a plan that works better for you so you're on track to reach your goals. Finally, give yourself time. So if you've started a new habit, you've come up with a new goal you want to achieve, give yourself time. You need to set up a routine. You need to set up a way to check in with yourself. So, again, whether it's spreadsheets or whatever it is that you're using to keep track of your goals, you need to set up those systems. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes energy to get yourself in a place where these systems are just going to start propelling you forward. So, you don't have to put so much work into the systems after a while. You have the systems in place working for you. Like I said, it took me over a year really to get comfortable with my budgeting system that I had going for me, what was working. That's why I'm here sharing my tips in terms of what worked and what didn't work. So again, those daily check-ins really, really, really do make a difference, especially with those long-term goals, because, or even time-consuming goals, because the longer you wait between check-ins, the more work you have to do. So if you're able to check in at least once a day, will make everything a lot easier. Okay, so give yourself time to set up the systems that are going to work for you. Try not to get too frustrated when things aren't going that well for you. Reach out to me, reach out to another coach, reach out to someone in terms of figuring out what is going to work for you. Talking about things, having conversations is only going to lead to more helpful information in terms of actually giving you help and advice, or learning even more things that aren't going to work for you. Okay? So know enough about yourself that you know how you work. Look back to other goals you've achieved in the past. What worked for you? What kind of style? Like we talked about with coaching as well. What style of achievement works best for you? Okay. Do you need someone who like really pushes you, who maybe checks in with you every single day? That's what coaches are for. Set that up with your coach, have them push you every single day to do a certain task. Make sure, like what kind of coach or what kind of achievement plan do you need to have? Do you need more space, less space? How are you best set up for success? That's really important to know about yourself. And honestly, give yourself the time to set up a routine, to do your check-ins, to set up your system so that you know they work for you. Enlisting help, professional, friends, family, whoever you need. Those are all the things that are going to help you achieve your goals, help you stick to your new habits, and you will eventually be on your way to reaching all of your goals. Okay? This is the third video of my free February. So this again video will be up forever. You can watch it, share it, comment on it. Let me know what tip made most sense to you. What new habit or goal are you working on right now? What are you excited to be working on? Have you achieved a goal recently? Just reach out, chat with me. I'm always here to listen, to help you guys out. So please, please, please feel free again to share, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And yeah, next week we're going to be talking about how to be more productive. So next week will be Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. It's the last video of my free February series. Have an awesome rest of your week. I hope you all had a really nice long weekend. It was kind of weird having long weekends in pandemics, but it's always nice having an extra day off to just relax and get some stuff done around the house. Have a good one, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.